Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you were expecting a big group tonight, a big round table, that is not happening tonight. That was the plan all along. It was just going to be me and our good friend Cristian Putelias, but Cristian is out there celebrating his dad's birthday. So we raised a glass of whatever we're drinking. I guess at this point I'm drinking water, but happy birthday to Christian's dad. I'm not going to sing happy birthday to him today. We usually make Chris sing happy birthday to everybody else, but we already hit him up and just told him that, enjoy his dad and his celebrating his birthday. So here I am. It's just me tonight. There is plenty to talk about today. Feel free, Bayou Banter, get it going. I see Jay already joining us. Yeah, I decided to go ahead and get started a little earlier, I suppose.
Should be coming clearer now that I fixed it. But yeah, welcome to the show. Let people trickle in. There is a lot to talk about. Hopefully this would be a relatively short episode, I would say, especially with it just being me tonight. But feel free to leave any questions, any comments, anything that you may have on the Bayou Banter. You guys are more than welcome to keep the interaction going. Thanks, Jay. I make sure. Yep, he says there you go. Sounds better. Yep. I completely forgot. I disconnect and connect my microphone all the time to make sure I charge other items, and I have to go back into the settings. And usually, I have somebody to kind of play feedback before I start recording. But tonight, that didn't go as we wanted to. But anyways, glad you guys are here with me. If you are listening to us live this beautiful Monday night after what was a pretty rough Saturday rain, I guess rain wave that kind of passed through the city. But here we are, man. We don't necessarily get nice weather down here. I know Jay does, being in California and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty nice weather right now. It says it's 58 degrees, clear sky. So pretty beautiful day out to enjoy. I know I went out, took the kids to go around the park during what it's their holiday. They celebrated President's Day. They didn't have school today. Probably a lot of kids, if not all of them, were in similar spaces, invading their parents' time, like mine did. But yeah, before I get any further, I do want to let everybody know to please, if you are not doing so, be sure to join the Bayou City Soccer Spaces, the social medias under Bayou City Soccer. Wait, Christian, man, what are you doing here? You need to go with your dad, bro. What's up?
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. No, yeah, we're good, bro. We celebrated enough. He said, "Go do your thing. Go be with your people." So I was like,
Oh,
all right,
well,
cool.
all right, man.
That is cool.
I hope they don't kick you out of your house at this point. Yeah, but
no, we're all good.
Well, maybe I should reintroduce everybody. But yeah, okay, Christian. Now that you're in here, I'll let you get started with telling the people how they can connect with us, man.
100%. BayouCitySoccer.net is the website, guys. Check out everything and anything that we're doing over there, soccer related, here in the city of Houston. It is game week, so that means that literally almost every single day we will be having something related to the game. So, go check out, like 3 players to look for, enemy scouting report, and just a bunch of different things that we're doing with some people from Chicago to kind of see, you know, what they have, what they're bringing for this game, and then just different things that, you know, a throwback and just different things that we're doing like that, getting ready and getting you guys excited for the game on Saturday. So it's going to be fun. Go check out the website, BayouCitySoccer.net. That's where you're going to find all the articles and everything like that. So starting today or tomorrow already, like, we're going to be posting a lot of stuff. There's predictions from the staff. You can go laugh at us and do all these things, but nothing would be possible without the help of you guys. I think Rudy was talking about our special Discord. So you guys join us over there. We already started talking over there with some people, everybody that has joined us, and we're just going to be chit-chatting the whole entire season about the season, interviews and stuff like that. We already have some interviews lined up, and those people have the I guess, I don't know if privilege, but at least the opportunity to ask a question too. So that's something awesome that we kind of offer for you guys too, to be able to, you know, drop your questions, and then we can try and use those whenever we do get to talk to players or coaching staff or even GM or, you know, whoever it may be that we're able to get that week. But yeah, so check out the Discord. Thank you guys for joining and, you know, supporting us. Thank you to We Got Soccer at WeGotSoccer.com. They'll also help us out. Elotes Bravos at the stadium. Great corner cup. I think Rudy enjoyed one of those maybe this past weekend. And of course, and last but not least, dang, I'm choking on tres leches right now. Ugly Guppy at uglyguppy.com. We appreciate them and everything they have done for us in the last couple of years. And yeah, just keep supporting those guys, and they'll keep supporting Houston soccer.
Sorry, I literally was just barely seeing your messages from earlier. I was like, you know, it's gonna be just me. Let me just go ahead and get started. I told, you know, my wife didn't want to put the kids to sleep anytime soon, and I'm like, all right, you struggle with them, you know, that's fine. That's fine. They have school back again. The one thing that I was gonna mention, I know that something with StreamYard and X, something weird is happening that it doesn't show it as it's live, but it is live. Like if you go into actual Bayou City Soccer, like it used to always kind of pop up as like a tweet, basically, the feed. But it's not showing up. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix it. But it is there. So if you are listening, what's it called, on YouTube, but you know, if you're used to catching us on X, you know, it usually lets you like kind of retweet the feed, but it's not showing up right now. But yeah, I need to figure that out. All right, Chris, man, there was a lot on Saturday. But before we get into Saturday, I did create some slides, kind of some of the things that we may miss last week from the last recording. Here's some Dynamo news for you guys. Obviously, the away kit was released. They launched the mission control kit inspired by Houston's pioneering spirit in space exploration. We got to see it pretty close. I think I'm starting. I like it. I can't, you know, I
agree.
At first glance, I thought, I mean, I think I mentioned it, kind of like ugly kid, but you know, just trying to, we hadn't seen what the full kit was gonna look like. We kind of had some ideas of what colors they were gonna use, but seeing it in person, it's a nice color scheme for sure. Because the shorts and the socks aren't really purple as we kind of expected them to be. They're more of a navy and silver, obviously with the lines and the logo and the number. And then the shirt itself, it's very similar. So from the back, it's almost, you know, close to what that color is. It's a navy, and the front, it's, you know, has a navy, purple, and orange kind of to it, and other different colors. But man, once you're, you know where you're at on I guess on a scale from 1 to 10 on, you know, liking this kit.
I'll be honest, in person, it looks very, very good. Like you said, I was kind of high in the beginning, to be honest. Not maybe not super high, but like maybe like a 5-6. But I think it went up to like closer to an 8-9, to be honest. I mean, I'm a sucker for maps, and I like, it's weird, but I like the map portion of it. Like you said, the purple is not really purple, it's bluish. So, you know, it's not the greatest kit in the world, but it's also, in my opinion, not the worst one. But I think it looks a lot better in person for sure. At least it's different. I guess, we A for effort when it comes to being, different, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely different, and I said that from when we first saw it.
I should have
I
said
was
6-7.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
Too
go with that.
late.
You said 5-7. But no, I'm
The
with you.
kids.
I feel that at first glance, even when I was like, man, it's pretty ugly. Like it was. I still said, but it's definitely the oddest one they've done, which makes it the most creative, and so it puts it a little bit notch on creativity. But yeah, once you see it and kind of like how all the kid comes together, it makes more sense for sure. I like it, and obviously we saw it again on Saturday as well. Here, one more thing before actually I think there's two more things before we move forward, but Houston did announce the hire of club legend Wade Barrett as vice president of community engagement. It's an interesting one. Obviously, there's been so much talk about what the Dynamo are doing, when it comes to community and getting players and former players involved in community and growing it. It's good to see a guy that obviously was a part of Houston's back-to-back titles and all the early success with the team, being hired to do that, to kind of build that community, to go around the what it is Houston and everywhere around Houston, and continue to develop that that I keep saying community, but I mean that's basically what it is, right? They're just kind of continue to grow that experience of the fan base, and having more people go to the stadium. A club legend, maybe Christian. If you get to talk to him, please don't tell him that he's a club legend, because some people may not
People are
like
gonna
that
get mad,
icebreaker.
bro.
But yeah, I mean, quick. Anything else you want to add about Wade getting this hire?
No, I mean, I guess it seems like he's already working, right? I mean, you saw
Yes.
what's his name, Guillermo and Ponce, like two DP players already out and about in the in the streets, and then you saw H as well with Halter. I mean, the new guys are I don't know if new guys, but some of the newish guys are out there in the community. I mean, it starts small, some autograph signings, going to schools and stuff like that. But I think that's part of the community. I was thinking when I saw that, I was like, man, it's crazy. Like the NFL, right? They do like I don't know if any of the other leagues do, but like they give a like JJ Watt had that patch, when you do community work, like it's a trophy that you win, right? Like kind of
Like
quote
the
unquote.
what is the humanitarian award or whatever?
Yeah, something like that, right? But I mean, it's cool that whenever the fans can interact with the players and then the players with the fans, I think it builds a closer bond, and also it kind of makes you care about the team a little bit more. I don't know, I just think it's cool, and we're starting to see the Houston Dynamo doing a lot of those things. So I guess Wade Barrett is getting it back into work, but it's also cool to see guys that were part of the community, I guess back in the day, try to continue and keep that going, because we always talk about Pat, and every time that he talks about the old days and all the things that they used to do, when you hear the stories of Eddie Robinson and everybody like that, they'll tell you like, oh, we used to go to this park and this and do a bunch of stuff. And it's cool that they're bringing it back in this modern era of the Houston Dynamo, which I think it's going to be super vital, given the World Cup, all the all the new soccer fans that are going to come out of this summer. And like, you got to start building that base of, community team relationship. And then hopefully whenever the summer comes and the World Cup comes and goes, I mean, you have a huge boom, with new Dynamo fans, at least Houston soccer fans. And, when you have that, it's kind of like my story in a way, is like, I wanted to be a fan of something that kind of represented me. And I was like, well, I always repped Houston, so why not rep the team from Houston? So I think a lot of people are going to find that same route into the Houston Dynamo. So I'm glad they're getting ahead of it and appointing somebody that is part of the community in a sense, or at least it was.
Absolutely. And I talked to you guys on the chat, and I was like, it's funny that it's him, because he's very like a silent captain, like silent leader. I mean, we saw that during his career, as a professional, obviously wearing the armband here in Houston, and other places that he played at. And then, he fell in love with Houston. He pretty much never left after he retired. I think he has an academy here, or was a part of an academy here for youth soccer. And so, as you mentioned, I think he's a guy that he walks into a room and you know who he is and what he means to the club, same as what Pat Onstad was. And, every time you see any other guys that were with the team, like maybe in like a Brad Davis and so on, right? And so, I mean, it's important, absolutely. But, you talk about the community and maybe some other, I mean, no matter what the club does, there's gonna be people that love it, people that hate it. Here's one that's probably pretty hated right now, but that is, if I could put it on here, the they finally confirmed that homegrown midfielder Sebastián Rodríguez went, I think, at this point, to Monterrey in Mexico in Liga MX. This is a guy that is very talented, 18 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he spent pretty much the last, 3 years? Maybe, 3 years playing with Dynamo 2. We kind of knew how good he is. He was kind of like in the core, as far back as, again, 3 years ago, whenever it was Marcelo Palomino. Rodriguez ended up getting a bunch of minutes in Brooklyn Rain. So when Brooklyn left, we being the Bayou City Soccer crew were like, maybe this is the time. This is the time that he kind of steps into, that Brooklyn role of like eventually kind of hashing some minutes with the team. But he's a guy that he has something, right? He's been called for the U national teams for Mexico and the US, and he's there. But maybe there's just something missing. And honestly, just looking how crowded that type of midfield, position that he plays, it was smart for him to get some opportunity elsewhere. And, it may hurt people's, I don't know, feelings or ego that, man, why is he leaving? What if he plays with like Monterrey? But, obviously he's a Mexican international, so it doesn't cost anything to, the Liga MX when it comes to a roster spot on an international. And if the kid gets some minutes, man, why not? It's at the end of the day, he's 20 years old. It's purely a loan. I didn't see anything about a option to purchase, so that's good. You want him to just get exposure, even if it's just not even making the team and just living that life and seeing that high level competition. I think it's important. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, I follow a club like Boca Juniors, which usually has at least on a given time, like 10 to 15 players on loan. And obviously, it's not the same. I guess we can also talk about like Chelsea or teams like that they just accumulate players and then send them on loan just to get experience. Because if you're going to have a guy and the guy is going to ride the bench, or because, I mean, let's just put it out there, right? Let's just say Sebastián gets on the sheet, right?
I'm sure everybody heard me burp. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear you, so you good. But let's just say Sebastián gets on the team day sheet, right? So the guy's gonna sit in the bench waiting for somebody to get injured. And then if somebody does get injured, then he's probably going to play it. I mean, he's not going to start, right? He's not going to get, meaningful minutes just because, like you said, you have Diade, was it Chache?
Chache.
You have him, right? You have players like him. Arthur.
You have Agustin Bossad. You have,
there's a bunch of guys, right?
The list can play in that position. Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of guys that are in front of him when it comes to depth. Of course. So the question is, are you gonna? I think you can trust the kid. I've seen him play personally. I like him. Obviously, I'm not the technical director.
Yeah, he's a very good player, and I think
that's very mature.
That has to be said. He's very good. He is missing something, right? And that's something that Ben Olsen has talked about. It's but it's as I mentioned it. Whenever you're in MLS Next Pro, you have to be the best. And
a difference. You have to make a difference.
Exactly. And he hasn't done that yet, right? He's still like he's just one of the guys at times. He disappears, but that he can be, and it's just a matter of being consistent and getting it done.
He just turned 18 years old. Let's just not let's not put it like, let's not write the narrative that the guy is being let go for free to a team that's going to put him to work a lot. I mean, he might go to, Monterrey and not play either, or he might go and kill it and play every single game, but he's on a loan. He's going to come back. He's young, 18. Like the future is still completely ahead of him. I think personally, I think is a great move because he's going to a Monterrey, which obviously is a way bigger team than the Houston Dynamo institution, like the institution wise.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be able to rub shoulders with, I mean, Liga MX in the region is probably the best league, maybe competing there with, with the MLS, like neck to neck. But he's going to go to a league which is different, and, different pressures, just different. Being in Monterrey is a whole different ballgame because of what they expect of Monterrey. It's one of the bigger teams in Mexico. So I think he's going to get a lot of experience that he can bring back and put to work in the Dynamo whenever the time comes. I easily see him coming back next year and playing in the Dynamo, or at least fighting for a spot. But for him to fight for a spot, it's gonna be hard for him to fight for a spot playing in the MLS Next Pro.
Yeah, well,
it's really hard.
But it has to do again. I agree with you. I think that he will. I think that this kid has all the makings of eventually, being a first team player for the Dynamo. And I think this loan, if he, luckily he didn't get sent super far away. Also,
Okay.
being a young guy. So, if he wanted to come home, like, every now and then, it's like an hour flight, it's nothing crazy. But you want him to grow. You want him to mature. Maybe again, this pushes him and that breaks him over.
That separation.
Exactly. And right now, the way that the roster has been built is to win now, right? You bring in Hector Herrera in his last probably season, then next year maybe Hector is not here, and then by then
you can
Archer's
swap him
not
in.
here,
Yeah.
and there's a few players that are going to be out, and then you'll be able to kind of give him some opportunity.
And you bring a good point, because I mean, I can't assure you because I don't know this, but I can pretty much, you could probably say, or, write the narrative, continuing that phrase, that if Achache did not come to Houston, then, the next in line would have been Sebastián Rodríguez.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's easily, I mean, he plays that position. He plays almost the same type of player. And he was kind of learning whenever he was here in the first stint. Achache, Sebastian would talk about, how he was learning from Hector Herrera, how he was kind of, trying to emulate or
That's his role
imitate what he was
model.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously maybe it would have been perfect for him to be under him, but the kid is not getting any younger. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He has to, this is a great step for him to, like we say, to separate from being at home. And he's going to have to mature not only as a player, but also as a person, which sometimes, you really needed, because I think Brooklyn Reigns also grew up because he had to grow up as a person as well. I mean, we have to remember that they're still human beings, right? Like, they're going to have feelings, and being at home, being comfortable, which something it could, it could go against you too. Being comfortable in your own hometown and expecting, because a lot of people think because you came from the academy, like you have to get minutes. It's like, no, you don't deserve anything. This is earned. Like anything in a professional soccer team or a professional sport is earned, not given. So he's gonna, this is a great opportunity for him to prove, like, hey, like, look, I went out, I earned minutes in Monterrey one of the biggest ones in this league, and I'm coming back home and I'm gonna fight for a spot. Let it be against HH, let it be against Bosa, let it, like, he's going to have to come in and continue and fight. I mean, that's what Brooklyn did in a sense, right? Even though he was kind of like the replacement for Achache. In my opinion, Sebastian is a lot better.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And it will show the measuring stick, right? The measuring stick is going to be like, you go to a place like Monterrey, who does pump out academy players, and you'll see, like, oh my God, there's a lot of academy players that play here, and only maybe one or two get an opportunity. And even then, let's see how difficult it is. The kids go in there, they have a bad game, and probably people want them out, and it's just the reality, and obviously something that you are not seeing currently with the Houston Dynamo. I don't want to continue too much on this topic. Let's go ahead and get into what was this weekend, Christian. So this weekend, Valentine's Day. So if you celebrate Valentine's Day, hopefully you had a good time. If you didn't, I'm sure you still had a good time as well. But
Yeah.
Serenity Stadium, the last preseason for the Houston Dynamo, which I did not change that. It says 2025. So, anyways, you guys, know
what
what
I
I meant.
mean.
But in this match, it was Guillermo against the world. The guy scores 3 goals, 2 very good goals, and then gets a penalty. Ponce is a designated player to take it. He gave the ball right to Guillermo.
Somebody died.
Let me go back. This is right here. Him with the third and final goal from the penalty spot. He says 1, 2, 3, goal. Those are the pictures that.
Yeah, those are great pictures that Ricky took.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now we got to do it in the real games, dog.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously something we talked about, there's a lot of question marks. I mean, we all remember talking about like the first things that we saw about Guillermo was obviously him.
It's a bad video. I was
that video of like 2-3 minutes of him just missing.
He scored,
yeah. And he has been dangerous. So in preseason, he scored a total 4 goals. I mean, and he has been very dangerous.
Yeah.
I will be very honest. I'm not going to sit here and break down this game. And I know, it was a fan fest. They had all kinds of activities for people to show up before the game, obviously for the fans, for the media. They did presentation on food, as I think you mentioned earlier as well. Some of the things Little Patagonia is going to be a part of things that they're offering now. So you'll have choripan, empanadas, all that good stuff. Yeah, the choripanes look good. I didn't try them because I don't know. I should have grabbed one, but it looked really good. It looked really good. That chimichurri looked hard, and now I already ate, bro, and I'm starting to get hungry now. People are going to be listening to this on the podcast at 7 a.m, and they're gonna mouth's gonna be watering
with chimichurri.
But so yeah, there's a lot of things happening, obviously, and the match itself. It was, I think it was Jack or one of the communication guys said like this is organized chaos, and you felt it. It was definitely chaotic. It felt like preseason. Everything was just kind of out of whack. Obviously, everybody was invited to this open practice. You just needed to get your tickets from Tixer, and I don't even know if they checked tickets at the door or not. And so it was definitely like a lot of things going on. I enjoyed it because I watched the first half like from the media booth, and then I got the okay to go down by the pitch, even if as a media member, and just literally watch the whole second half from one of the corners on the field, just sitting there.
I love it.
I kind of regret it because one of the Houston communication guys named Marco, he was like, "Hey, you want a chair?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm just gonna do it old kindergarten style. Just gonna, crisscross applesauce type of thing." And I was aching. I was definitely aching, and playing the media game did not help. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But man, yeah, but it was fun because it was like a completely different perspective. It was just kind of like probably the funnest, time I've had at the stadium as a media member. With again all the things kind of happening, and it doesn't hurt that you see the team are winning 3-0 at one point. New York does come back and make it 3-2, but it's just a fun environment. Like the players look like they're having fun. Obviously, like the starting 11 where we kind of know what they're looking like. It looks like a 3-4-3 type of formation, and we'll break it down more in a little bit as we talk about the first match of the season. Christian, I don't know when. I know you obviously had to work, and with the expected rain, everything kind of got pushed to an earlier time. So I'm not sure exactly what time you got there, but what did you get to see? What did you get to experience from that? The crowd, the people, like I think you got there right after maybe
second half, basically.
Okay, second half. So what are your thoughts on kind of the environment? And obviously, this was Torneo de Texas, and the Dynamo get to lift that cool little silver boot right there.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. Obviously, there wasn't a ton of people, but I think the rain didn't help either. It was cool, like just being outside the stadium and like, I think when I was walking in, they scored the third goal, and that's when like you heard like the roar from outside, and I was like, man, that's so awesome. Like I bet you it's packed in there, like it's packed to the rim. And then like you go in, and it was just kind of like the lower ball. There was some people on the second part of it, but you can just feel like the people were excited. It was cool to like hear. There wasn't a lot of like PA sound, right? It just felt like that. But you can kind of see like the people were into it, right? I think it was a good showing. Like you said, it was awesome that they were winning 3-0. I think the people liked that. The fans enjoyed it, and a lot of people stayed afterwards to kind of interact with the players, which I think is huge, a huge part. Going back to what we were talking in the beginning, but just building a connection with the fan, a connection with the community, and I think this was like a huge home run for the Houston, like for the Dynamo organization, having a free, game, even though it was like a friendly or, whatever you want to call it, preseason, or, it wasn't really a friendly because it was for a cup, I guess. Right. But, it's in the scheme of, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't
count for nothing.
But I think, people get excited when they're having fun in the field, at least, and they're winning. And then at the end, all the players, basically, not all of them, but a lot of them, we're in the stands talking to players or talking to people or signing autographs. I mean, Ache took like maybe like 30-40 minutes to sign literally everybody.
He had there is a roar when he stepped into the field.
Bro,
well. That was the first time that
I noticed
he played, obviously, in front of the Houston crowd since his return.
I even mentioned it. I was like, man, I forgot like how much people love this guy.
Yeah,
like people, like you see a lot of Mexican flags, you see a lot of Ache, like people, like Mexico jerseys. I was like, damn, like I forgot the pool that Ache had, to be honest, because I really didn't think like he was as popular. I mean, even Joey mentioned it, right? And he lives in a different state, but he was like, what you expect? I was like, honestly, I wasn't expecting this huge roar for, a player that, last season didn't play as much.
Yeah.
And even though, he did have a great pass in Houston, I mean, he lifted a trophy, right? Here in Houston, I didn't think people like still kind of loved him the same way, but I guess people loved and anticipated his, going into the field, because as soon as they didn't even mention him going in, but when they saw him like get called, by the jersey, they lifted up his jersey to maybe call him. That's when people started like, getting cheering and roaring. And as soon as, he went in, it was like a full explosion. And I was like, man, that's cool that at least, there's one player that they can get behind. And hopefully, with Bogusz, with, Guillermo and all these guys that are scoring goals and moving forward and actually playing beautiful soccer, I mean, hopefully you see something, people back them up as well.
Yeah, and one thing, you're right, because I think a lot of people, when I mean a lot of people, like my own, Mexican, friends, as I am, that we forget, as followers of Mexico and obviously the Mexican national team, we forget how successful Hector Herrera was, during his entire career. And he could be like one of the best players, obviously, for Mexico, that and his career in Europe, and obviously
he, top 5 maybe.
And that's what I was thinking as you were talking. I was like, man, if he could be like like a Mount Rushmore of Mexico. I don't know if he necessarily makes it, but he could. I mean, he
got Chicharito, Hugo Sanchez for sure, right?
Yeah, and then you probably have Rafa Marquez in there.
Rafa Marquez, right?
And then Barcelona. Obviously fourth, that's where people may put it Andres Guardado in there, but for how long but he didn't really win many titles, unlike Hector Herrera did. So it's interesting that you point that out. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously the guy is loved, and from the way that people acted when he came into the field and reacted, it looked like everything's forgiven, right? I mean, you really don't think about that the memory, obviously, that in that sense, right? It was a bad taste in people's mind,
I think, well, yeah. I mean, I think people were mad at the fact that like he got a red card and they like that game. It wasn't they didn't lose because of him in a sense, right?
No,
But what he did, what didn't help. That's
right.
what, I mean. I don't know. I don't. I think the whole spitting stuff is kind of dumb. Like
Well,
I
at
just
that
think,
point, I think that Coco should have gotten even a worse because he missed 2 games basically, right?
yeah. Like if anything, Coco is like a bigger culprit
Yeah,
than Acheche because I mean Coco literally there was 2 games if I'm not mistaken that he got red cards that it's like what are you doing, bro? Like these are
right.
it wasn't I think it was against Austin. You know I
Yeah.
guess
Well,
Clasico
but in that series against Seattle, he got red card in the first game. Obviously, missed the second game
and
when
then the
you
third
need
one.
him the most.
Yeah,
So it's yeah,
yeah.
they there wasn't a third game because they ended up losing both of
True,
them.
that's true.
But still, that's my point. Like it's a
Yeah,
at the end of the day, the
yeah,
measuring
yeah.
of it. Uh, but no, but that's good that you mentioned that. And all to say that I think the role is very defined for Hector Herrera. We talked about this when he, signed. I don't think he's expected to be obviously a main starter anymore. And I think he's
Yeah.
taking that role of coming in maybe 15, 20 minutes at the end of the game to help kind of settle the team a bit. He
Yeah.
did look he doesn't look like the Hector Herrera. He's been kind of like hesitant with his dribbling, with his passings, kind of making poor. I wouldn't call them necessarily poor decisions, but he's just not fine tuned. And obviously that goes to show with the not many games that he played right in the
Yeah.
last year since he left the Dynamo. But that's but all to say that even though he is not necessarily the main guy for the team on the field, it's good to see that the Dynamo are finally marketing him
Yeah.
around, as you mentioned, obviously going to schools like he did. And I know, Victor Rice did a good job of, having a conversation with him after that and kind of saying, yeah, he didn't think that the club used him in that aspect, kind of to bring him around town. And he's hoping that this second stint they do that, and he's gonna be, he mentioned, if I'm available, I'm willing to do it, and hopefully that is the case. And obviously, our friends at We Got Soccer have been pushing to get more player availabilities, to get more fans, um, the connection between the players. This time,
Yeah.
you mentioned obviously Ponce and Guillermo were out there. Before that, it was Dorsey and McGlynn. So yeah, those opportunities are going to come to rise. So shout out as well to Ruben and We Got Soccer, of course, out there. But
Yeah.
Christian, it's time, man. Blast off to a new
It's time.
season at this point. So Saturday should be a fun one. I think we're all going to be there, pretty much everybody, whether it be enjoying it from the stands or covering media wise. We'll definitely have a lot of Bayou City Soccer people out there.
Lot.
Guess don't want to burst any bubble here, but there was the media game. You want to finish with that? Kind of like how excited were you? I kind of mentioned to somebody, I'm like, man, I wish I wasn't so past my prime, man. I think that I would enjoy it even more. But
Hey, look, I just want to say to the public, to the Bayou banter that we have here, Rudy can play. You see him right here taking out the trash and being a good dad, being a good husband, taking his girl to the Bud Bunny concert and stuff like that. But Rudy in his day was a prime Acheche. He was in the midfield just moving the ball around. Like there was one part the ball came like high. He brought it down with his chest.
I thought I was good. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought I was trying to and I was telling you guys, man, it's like it's been a minute since I played, but I'm like, I've always been told that you never lose your touch, right? So it's like the speed, it's gone, reaction time is gone, but like touch and passing is there. And I was proud of there was one long ball that I tried to get past you, and I was like, nah. I was like, I can't kick it too high. I don't think Chris is gonna go for it. And sure enough, you got up there, bro. You what's it called? Intersected that ball, and I was like, dang, that was probably the best ball of them today. But
like, damn. No, but I mean, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I think obviously it was a lot of people. So it made it a little bit crowded. But I think at the end of the day, like in the beginning, I was like, it's gonna suck. There's so many of us. But once if you keep that in your head, then I wasn't gonna have fun. So I was like, what? Let me just have fun and
Really, the hardest
enjoy
part
the
was
moment. You know what I mean?
hoping not to slide and get hurt. I think
Oh,
why I couldn't feel my
1000%.
legs and the rest of
My
the day.
muscles, bro,
Yeah.
like my like thighs. I
Yeah.
think they hurt more
Right?
because of
Okay,
like just
that
trying
was
to
me.
stay up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of the time that somebody would try to go around you, like what it's not the same. You were like
Yeah, it's like, what do
sliding
I
and
do, bro?
but it was so much fun. I hope they do it again. I know that
Yeah,
I don't know
100%.
if Jack and Leo and David listen to this podcast, the Houston Dynamo communication team, but that was so much fun. Even though
Yeah,
the other team had all the like newbie
all the stars.
influencers that were like all under 20 years old or 25 years old, just kind of burning us. It was still fun, man. I would do it again for sure. And I kind of neglected. I don't know why I couldn't see the comments, and I see that a lot of people have been on here. So thanks for that shout out, Chris, and all those guys on here. Responding to my banter. You're keeping us alive and going today. But yeah, absolutely. So now, Christian, I'm trying to think. There's so much that happened on Saturday, so
There's a
it's
lot.
like, man, there
For
was
you,
just
even
too
longer
much.
day.
Yeah, it was basically from like 9:30 to 2:30 that I was up there, or at the
Yeah.
stadium. And so yeah, it was a long day. It was a long day. All right, let's go. Season, it's in the books. Preseason's in the books. Now we start
Yes.
with week 1. Shell Energy Stadium, February 21st, Chicago, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Obviously, the 2026 home opener is here. One thing that I did want to mention about the banter, someone asked about who's going to do the local call. I don't necessarily think there's a local call, Mike.
Yeah.
The idea is, I'm
There
assuming,
isn't.
as we've seen in the past, is there's going to be some guys that are kind of region into the specific area. I'm trying to remember who I would see often, and I cannot think of it. I mean, they did get rid of a lot of talent and a lot of the Hispanic talent for sure. I
Yeah.
think La Torre Jalisco, like legend. I didn't see his name on there. Jesus Bracamontes also I did not see on there on the Spanish side. But yeah, I'm not necessarily sure who will be allocated to be, doing a lot of the calls for Houston altogether. We'll find that out for you guys as we can. But like I said, with the amount of that they have, I'm sure it's going to be pretty fluctuating, and
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. Even in the PA sound person at Shell Energy Stadium sounded like a brand new person.
Yeah.
And they did
For sure.
have like what it sounded like 2 other people kind of calling. I don't know whether that be radio or what that broadcast was, but you could hear them too, especially in the beginning when I got there as they were practicing. They still have to iron out some kinks. I know there's a couple like mispronunciations and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just part of like a new gig, new people. And as they learn the players' names that went out. But Chicago, Christian, I mean, we're not going to sit there and know that we know them by heart. They did have, all I could find was 3 preseason games. They lost, tied, and won every. Yeah, I'm doing the math.
1-1-1.
So yeah, 1-1-1. So they beat LA Galaxy 3-2. They tied against Austin 2-2. And they lost to Portland 4-3. So what I can see here is they can score goals, and I don't know if they can really defend. And that's makes it interesting because we know the
Yeah.
type of game that Ben Olsen likes to play by holding the ball. Christian, this is a little bit difficult, right? To kind of like the first match of the season, to break it down and be like, hey, this is a player to watch out for. There's definitely a ton of questions when I make Christian disappear.
I'm gone.
Christian, where are you at? Christian. Oh, there you go.
I'm back.
The starting 11 that they use, if you really look at it, I mean, they look like a complete different team. I mean, we
Um,
understand, they have uh Bellhalter as their coach, and he did a good job of kind of reamping and reviving the Chicago Fire that had missed the playoffs for seemed like forever.
Decades. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but a lot of those players, that were there last year or helped them out basically are gone. And so one of the big ones was the young guy. I think it was Brian Gutierrez, or that he ends up getting sold to Chivas, and he's killing it with Chivas, man. They just won El Super Clásico, beating America 1-0 over the weekend. Chivas is undefeated, and this guy, he's not a starter, but he's a guy that comes off the bench and does well, as we saw. He kind of, we all remember that goal. I think it was, in the playoffs that he scored for Chicago, like the first goal in a playoff for, again, years for the Fire. And he just kind of, young kid, put the team in his shoulder and carry them, into what was a fantastic year. And you see this team now, and it looks very depleted to what we saw last year, at least on paper. But again, we can't sit too much and be like, okay, this is how they're going to beat them. We haven't seen it in real life. Houston has been fantastic in preseason. Obviously, a very successful preseason for them. But my question to you here, Christian, the expectation, right? You're a home opener. You're opening the season at Shell Energy Stadium. Just to you, and I know that coaches hate when you say this is a must win, but it kind of feels like you have to win this one to set the tone for the rest of the season, especially playing at home, Chris.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was like what the Dynamo lacked last year was the games at home. The games at homes were literally just dropping points left and right. And I think Ben Olsen knows that. I mean, if you don't know it, then you shouldn't be there, right? But it's one of the things that I think he talked about during his press conferences during this preseason, and I think they should take this serious. I mean, you need to make it a fortress, especially when at the end of the day, playoffs, sometimes it comes down to 1 to 2 points, and dropping a game, when you're 3-2 with 5 minutes left, and you get tied, or you're, I don't know, whatever the situation may be, right? Or you have a tie and then you lose and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that they're gonna have to make Shell a fortress once again, as it was at one point in time, and just make the teams respect them. And I think the team that they have built for Ben Olsen is a great squad, and I think he'll be able to, at least he has more. I think he has more weapons in his arsenal to like put the game that he wants to play on the field, and more. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has so many ways to, like, how do we want to play? And you can just name all the numbers: 3-4-3, 4-3-3, and all these different locker combinations of numbers to kind of be played. And yeah, just make yourself be respected at home, and don't let anybody come to Houston thinking that is going to be 3 easy points like maybe it was last year. Because last year,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just felt like the Dynamo just could not win at home, and sometimes teams would come, score 1 goal, and then just drop back, and you knew that the Dynamo didn't have the scoring power. And I think this year is going to be completely different. I mean, if you look at the guys, the front 5, I mean, those are guys that could either assist or score any given game. So I think the pressure should be put on the other team, and I think you have to get on your front side and back them up into a corner and just be respected at home.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And again, we've seen this lineup. At least I have, like, the 2 games that they played, at Shell Stadium against Atlanta, and this past Saturday against Red Bulls. He's been, him being Ben Olsen has been sticking to, again, a new formation that have not seen from the get-go in the last few years with him, being a 3-4-3. Your obviously starting goalkeeper is Jonathan Bond, with your center backs being Zviachenko, Antonio Carlos as your captain, which is interesting as well.
Yeah.
Lucas Halter next to them. They look really good. The chemistry is very well. I will say that Halter took a little bit. It seemed like he was already like carrying some kind of nag. Unsure exactly where. Obviously, it seemed lower body when they throw those injury reports out there. And that's because you never really saw what he was kind of like feeling or touching or kind of aching from. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's dealing with something on Saturday. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's still starting to maintain this. On the right side, we've seen Griffin Dorsey. In the middle, you have McGlynn and Agustin Bosat, who I think it's a phenomenal player. I think, he's everywhere. And we'll break down more, of this topics. Yeah, he is tiny. But, dude, he's just everywhere.
He's a beast. Yeah.
He's just absolutely everywhere. He's just like a silent guy that just, grinds. That's it. And Nolly has been playing as the left wing back. Yeah. And he does look a little bit lost at times, especially in the defending side of things. And I think that the experience and leadership of Halter definitely helps, relieve some of that Anali being gone and maybe not recovering fast enough or just not knowing exactly where he stands in position. So that is interesting. And then, yeah.
No, let me throw a nugget in there because Andrade, obviously, he's been out with an injury. Yes. They said a couple of weeks. But it would be interesting to see because Andrade would play that position, right? Where Nali is.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I like the internal battles that Ben Olsen's gonna have, between players like that because Andrade, he was for sure, definitive left back, and he would always carry forward either way. So when Joey and Dustin in our group chat talk about, well, the Dynamo had kind of been playing the shape with like 3 in the back and stuff like that. It was because it would kind of like flip flop and just kind of be movement fluidity like we see it in soccer. But it's going to be interesting to see if Andrade comes back and tries to fight for that point because like you said, Inali, sometimes he's not the greatest defender. He is great going forward and going with speed and going one-on-one at times and putting crosses in, but when it comes to defending, could that be a thorn on your side? Can you rely on the 3 center backs to kind of cover that hole for him?
Yeah. Mike did mention that he thinks it's a lower back that he saw him, holding his back in the bin. Just that could be it, and we'll definitely get some questions thrown to Ben Olsen, and there is gonna be on Friday. It's gonna be pretty busy. There's gonna be quite a lot of people that we'll be able to talk to, big bites. No, please, we won't ever say that name again.
No.
I'm gonna put it in here so people can read it, but I'm never saying that again. Yeah, but to your point, I think Inaldi is a little lost, and I think they definitely Andrade would be like a perfect click because we know how much he loves to attack, and he's a goal scorer, but he has that defensive capabilities, such as what Franco Escobar gave you. And then up front, Guillermo playing on the left side, Ponce obviously as your main striker, and Mati Bogusz playing outright. Some people may not like him. Obviously, he hasn't scored a goal, but to me, he's been obviously getting to know the players. But he's a DP. I mean, he's a guy that they're going to rely on, and he's one of those guys who's going to get. I feel will need to get hot quickly and build that chemistry, but he's a guy that definitely can get that done, and everybody kind of clicking together.
Yeah, I might throw some like big numbers here, but I think players like Guillermo, players like Matthew Bogusz are 2 guys that are easily 10 goals this year.
Yes, they have to be. They have to
Easy.
be. They have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't expect for you to be here, to be honest. I was like, man, like let him enjoy his dad, but you're too Argentinian sometimes, man. You have to.
He said you want to talk about football? Go for it, dude.
Go for it, son. Go for it. It's like I'm already old, man. Like
no, it's because my brother was here, and then he just he has 2 little girls, so he was like, we gotta go to work tomorrow and all that. Yeah. So then everybody was like, well, I guess we're going to bed. I was like, all right, I guess we are.
I'll see you in an hour.
Basically.
But so I wanted to keep the Christian, segment going where you give us a prediction as well. This one should be easy. I mean, okay. Well, actually, before I'll let you, start thinking about it.
Yeah.
But just to predict or give my prediction of what the scoreline would be, I think that this will have to be a win. Like it has to be, and I believe that it is going to be a win.
Yeah.
Chicago again. It looks like it's a team that finds the back of the net, which is a little scary. Knowing kind of what we saw with New York Red Bulls kind of coming back against the Dynamo and making it 3-2. So I'm gonna do a 3-2 as well for this match. I would love to see, home openers tend to always be full and there's this hope in the air of a new season and the ability to lift another MLS Cup and get that third one and the third start on the kit. So I think it has to be a big win, and I believe that they will get it done. So a 3-2 win is what I am predicting for the Houston Dynamo. Christian, feel free to start with that prediction or what you think the scoreline may be, and then as well, if you can hit us with a random prediction. I call it random because
right now we're
kind of put you on the spot just because again, I didn't expect you to be on here, and I completely forgot to say like, hey, Christian, we're gonna keep your episode going. Well, you know what? I'll give you a little more time to think because I did think of something right now. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Whatever.
All right, go for it.
It probably won't make any sense, but whatever. My heart is telling me that like game score prediction is gonna be 2-2, but I think the Dynamo will win just because they're at home. So I'm gonna say, Mike over here he's bold. I think bold prediction. I don't know if he was talking to me or not, but I would say 2-1 Dynamo. I wanted a clean sheet for being at home the first time. It would have felt great, but I don't think the Dynamo are clean sheet ready yet.
Yeah.
But I think once the pieces get together and they kind of learn to play the way that at least the shape looks on paper. Obviously, Dustin or boy Joey are going to say
3-1 Dynamo. It looks like everybody feels a win coming, man. That's fine.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. Add your prediction on here. And
my orange divination, as we called it, I think the Dynamo are going to have more than 60% of possession of the ball.
I like it.
In game wise, I think they're going to go back. I feel like last year they slacked that without Achache. I think that Achache or a person of that quality was lacked in the midfield. McGlynn was there, but he's not that type of player. Right. McGlynn he's a different individual, right? He likes to have the ball, but he doesn't have it often in a way. But I think with having, Bossad and having Guilherme and having guys that know how to keep the ball and want the ball, and like you were saying, the previous game that you went to, I mean, you heard a lot of Chiqui, like that's Bossad's nickname. And he was the one that had the ball the most, basically, you were mentioning. And I think the Dynamo are going to want to be a team that holds the ball again, right? What we used to call Benny Ball at one point in time. And I feel like he's going to want to go back to that, to having control of the game, having control of the ball. And we're just going to throw up 60-40 possession. I know it's not crazy, but I think it seems like a reasonable more than 60%. But yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
We're trying.
I like that because it's easy. It's kind of like a cup out, because we know that they're high in possession, but it's not because we have seen them struggle
at home
for sure, especially when we're predicting for it to be a win. So for them to keep a win and keeping that high of a possession, obviously should kind of be hand to hand. But it's something that they definitely found difficult to do last year with many pieces that weren't there.
And here, let me throw another one. XG, even though I'm not an XG person, is going to be more than 2.0.
Oh, well.
If they scored 2 goals,
I was gonna say if they scored 2 goals, I guess,
but sometimes they don't add up to a goal, right? Like if they're difficult, I don't know how it works. It's too much math and science. I hated those 2 subjects. I'm more of a history guy. That's why I like, just the game. I'm a history guy.
But man, this has been a good show, man. Thanks again, Christian, for showing up again. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
What? Since you showed up, we'll everybody on the chat, start putting happy birthday,
Happy
Christian Zach.
birthday, Dad.
Happy
I'll
birthday,
take a
Christian.
picture of it. Yeah, yeah. I'll let it run for a while, and then I'm gonna take a screenshot and I'm gonna send it to him.
That we'll definitely have
His
to.
name is Carlos. Say happy birthday, Carlos, if
Happy
you don't
birthday,
mind on the chat.
Carlos.
And then I'll screenshot it.
Yeah. So okay, here's so as we finish this episode, I do want to let you guys know the Houston Dash are also in the midst of their preseason with the season coming soon as well. It'll be a couple weeks still, but don't forget to tune in to Orange and Blueprints on Wednesday. I will let you guys know that this won't be the only episode.
Let me ask you a question, Rudy.
Yeah,
what are you
go for
doing?
it.
What are you doing Thursday, bro?
Yeah, I hope that I am here and not late elsewhere. But I guess Monday and Thursday is trash day, so Monday and Thursday is going to be episode day. So yeah, join us Thursday as well. This should be a round table that we try to do every year. In the beginning of the season, we'll have Dustin, Chris, myself, Joey. We'll see if we'll get any other Bayou City people or maybe a guest or two on here. Try to get a prediction going. We do obviously have an article every year with our prediction for both the Dynamo and the MLS. It's a lot of fun because sometimes we hit and sometimes we're way off, and it's so fantastic to go back.
No, just the one last thing. If I get out of here, it's because my computer died.
All right, no, you're good. So all I was gonna mention is definitely join us for Chris. There's a bunch of happy birthday, Carlos. So if you want to take a picture,
appreciate it. I am right
now. So obviously join us for that on Thursday night. Should be a fun time. We'll have all kinds of graphics from our guys that already gave our predictions, and we'll kind of talk about it. We won't spend too much time obviously on that game for Chicago. We'll take it more of a general broad of the season, and we'll have fun with that. We also internally always have a what is it called? The Golden Boot,
that too,
draft as well. And so we'll probably post those as well, and you can keep up and pick who from the Bayou City Soccer guys that who has a better team of goal scorers and can get it done. I will say Joey destroyed us last year. The year before that, Dustin had a really good year with Messi. I took Messi this year, and he did carry my team, but I could never catch up. Everybody else was terrible. And lastly, we are scheduled to be doing a couple Orange Talks interviews this week. So if you are part of the Bayou City Soccer community, you already know who we're talking to. And as well, you get the opportunity to throw in any questions that you may have for these guys, for these players that give a little bit of their time for us to get to know them, for you guys, right, for the fans. So be expecting those, some dropping probably Wednesday or Thursday morning, and we'll get it going. But Chris, if you can tell the people how they can connect with us, men, and we'll close it out.
Instagram, Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Twitter, all everywhere. Bayou City Soccer. That's where you can find us, guy. This is the week that you want to join us, that you want to join in and, follow, subscribe to anything that we have on social media. Make sure you let your friends know that if you have somebody that is just getting into soccer, get them into soccer, and then tell them to follow Bayou City Soccer so they can be in tune with everything that we do. Remember, this is game week. So from now on to the end of time, we'll be having a lot of articles about the opponents and what to look for, and just everything that we can get you to be prepared going into Saturday, so you can have a great idea of who we're playing or who the Dynamo is playing against. So it's fun for you, it's fun for us, it's fun for everybody, and then you can go into the game being informed and kind of what to expect, what the game has. So BayouCitySoccer.net is a website. Thank you to We Got Soccer, thank you to Ugly Guppy, thank you to Elotes Bravos. And thank you to you guys for joining our Discord. We appreciate all the love and the support that you guys have given us throughout the years. And hopefully another season that starts, and hopefully it ends well.
Yeah. And you see our predictions. I think some of us are more hopeful than others. But
100%.
So catch us on Thursday. And I will finish by saying Elotes Bravos is one of the best, really good sponsors. We will be giving away some of their Corona Cups and aguas frescas. So
Yes, sir.
we used to do it on the episode. You'll probably catch it on social media. So if you're interested in entering that, keep an eye out as well this week, as we'll hopefully get somebody, a lucky winner, a voucher for this game or any game that they go to Shell Energy Stadium and enjoy some elotes bravos. So with that, man, thank you guys so much for joining us. Bayou Banter, thank you for
Appreciate it, guys.
being up and alive and keeping all the comments and questions coming. Thank you guys for celebrating Carlos' birthday today.
Appreciate
Maybe
it,
that's what I
guys.
should have named this podcast, man. I should have named
Happy
it
birthday, Carlos.
Happy birthday, Carlos, brother. But
And people are like, who?
it's Carlos, like from the
Like
what's that?
Antonio
I love it.
Carlos?
Yeah, the Hangover Carlos. He looks like a Carlos to me.
That's true.
I love
The
that movie.
baby.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
But yeah, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange. And we'll see you on Saturday at the game.
Thursday.
We'll see you on Thursday first.
For the
And
round
actually,
table.
there's quite a few people that stopped me on Saturday saying like recognized like the Bayou City logo, asked like, or was mentioning
Come
like,
find me,
"What's
get
up,
a
Rudy? Come look for us." But I will say there's one specific guy that stopped me and told me how much he loved the show and kept up with it at work, and we kept him
Hey, shout out to
going
him.
during his late work hours. He asked for a hat. So I know what you look like. I know exactly who you are. I don't remember if you told me your name, but that's okay because I have like a very good, memory of a face. So hit us up on whether it be X or Instagram. I know you'll be at one of the games, probably this Saturday. So I'll bring an extra hat and I'll meet you and I'll give you the hat and we can take
There
a
you go.
picture. And I told him, hey, I got stickers in my bag. He's like, no, man, I'm a big fan. I need a hat. So we'll hook you up. I promise that. And so we'll look for you. But absolutely, man, it's been fantastic. Jay wants some stickers. You already know. So, of course, we'll get that going. But thanks once again. Have a good night.
That's funny. The comment, I read it and I was like, what does that mean? And then I read it and I was like, oh.
Yeah, he knows.
Thursday.
He knows.
Qué
But
boludo.
all right, man. We'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll see you on
guys
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thank you guys for joining us. Peace.